What is up, Western? Welcome to the first edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I am your host, Ryan Thorson. We have a very exciting show for you today. Leatherneck swim coach Greg Naumann is in studio with me. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, let's start it off real fast. Your team swam very well last weekend over at Brophy Hall. What was the main point of that? How did you swim so well?
Me personally, I didn't swim very well, but the team did incredibly well. It's one of those things where it was kind of our senior day. It was a couple of teams that were actually, pretty close to the same caliber as what we were. So it was one of those things where the team wanted to really kind of step up and give the seniors, one last good hurrah. The team obviously was led scoring-wise by our seniors, which is really kind of the foundation of our team at this point in time. So it was really just kind of the competition and the fact that it was a senior day, which led to us swimming as well as we did.
And you mentioned the seniors. You had 6 of them on the team. How did they help lead your team throughout the season?
Pretty much they just kind of dictate as to how the program has operated over the years, kind of the great tradition that we've had as a program, as well as just kind of leading the team as to, hey, this is how we practice, this is how we train. We go through a pretty rough schedule, training about twice a day, and so, to have the seniors kind of leading the way is really pretty nice for me to be able to just, really focus on writing the workouts and knowing that, if somebody's going to actually kind of slack off in practice, the seniors are going to be like, hey, come on, let's pick it up a little bit. So they lead pretty much by example, as well as, calling people out when need be throughout the entire season.
That's very nice. Let's switch gears here. You were a 4-year letter winner here at Western in your heyday as a swimmer. How did that experience being a swimmer transfer over into being a coach?
Really kind of the big thing with me has always been, I wasn't really revolved around necessarily the athletically gifted side. It was one of those things where I had to work a little bit harder as to what I was doing, and so paying attention to details as I was a swimmer has really been what's paid off as a coach, is knowing how to do all the mechanics, being able to break things down and relaying it to the swimmers themselves. So that really has been the foundation for me as a coach, is being as detail oriented as I have been as a swimmer has then related to my coaching. The training is training. We just throw everything we can at them and try and make them really tired at the end of the day.
And how did you actually get involved with swimming? Were you just born in a pool or something like that?
It was actually Big Brother did it. He was, just swimming at the local YMCA doing swim lessons, stuff like that. And so he eventually was told, we really don't have anything for you to do here after this level. So, hey, this is a possible option as to what you can do. So he did it, and I wanted to be like Big Brother. So that's kind of where I got into the swimming pool for competition.
And last weekend was your last swim meet of the year until the Summit League Championships, which are just around the corner, starting, is it February 17th?
February 16th, actually.
16th.
Correct.
February 16th. How are you preparing for that compared to a normal
normal swim meets? What we basically do is we still throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. Going into our conference meet, we've actually started to back off throwing the kitchen sink at them, and we've pulled back throwing the refrigerator at them as well. So really it's been focused on backing down the intensities, backing out of the overall volume of what we're doing, so that basically their bodies kind of recover from everything, and then they start to actually feel good, don't have the normal aches and pains, and that just leads to a kind of a heightened mental aspect for them, that they've got a little more bit of a chip on their shoulder as they're going into our conference meet.
Very well put. You got quite a few younger swimmers on the team, and we also mentioned the 6 seniors. This could be their last swim meet of their college career and really in their whole life of swimming. How are you keeping the nerves down for the team? Are you afraid that might affect them a little bit?
I mean, nerves are nerves. Nerves are actually part of athletics in general, and sometimes it's actually a good thing to have some of those butterflies floating around in your stomach. And so, it's been one of those things where we do some sports psychology stuff with visualizing. That way they get to the point where they don't actually have to necessarily think about what they're doing. They're able to actually just kind of go with it and react. We want to get it so at the end of the year at a conference meet, it's more of an instinctual habit. You would think over the course of almost an entire school year that they would actually have this as an instinct, but all the little things we do training-wise, mechanically, as well as race strategy, that have it as an instinct. But It doesn't happen until really the end of the year is when we start seeing a lot of reacting to how things are going versus having to think about it and then reacting. So that's the big thing with us, is just making sure their heads are on straight and doing that with the mental training through sports psychology usage.
Well, we wish you to have a good swim meet when that comes. But for us, that is it for the edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'd like to say thank you to Coach Naumann and wish him good luck as his team prepares for the Summit League Championships February 16th in Indianapolis. I'm your host, Ryan Thorson. Be sure to tune in next week